As a D3 linebacker, I entered the transfer portal and ended up committing to play Power 4 football in the ACC. I've also helped 51 other football recruits land over $2 million in scholarship money in the last 14 months. And in this video, I'm breaking down the framework that we use to turn dead conversations with college coaches into offers. So if you've been getting ghosted by D1 coaches, or you don't want to keep double texting like your crazy ex-girlfriend, then this video is for you, because if all these guys with no stars and no connections can use this and see success, then I know you can too, as long as you use the framework I lay out in this video. Now, it sounds crazy, but coaches' inboxes being filled is actually a good thing. It means that literally 99% of players give up after just one message. So any recruit that sends follow-ups has 1,000 times greater chance to actually get seen. And that means that the recruit framework might be the most valuable thing that I can actually teach you, because normies just send their opener, don't get a response, and assume the coach isn't interested, but real G's understand that the follow-up is where the real game happens. And we've sent tens of thousands of emails, and when the opener doesn't get a reply, 2 follow-ups are sent automatically with about a week of time in between each follow-up. Also, the reply rate on the opening message is about 1% overall, and with the follow-ups, it's about 5%. Where everyone gets it wrong though, and where you become annoying, is by not providing any value with your follow-ups. So you need to understand that every new follow-up, you have to provide some sort of new value and actually give them a reason to respond to your message. So when you don't know what to say after not getting a response, you can use the recruit framework, which is something that we created. So first, understand that it's an acronym. Each letter is a different example of what you can say in a conversation or how to follow up with a coach. And the first one is recall. So you can recall past conversations, interactions, or shared experiences to show that you've been paying attention in prior conversations with the coach. So for example, say you've been talking to a coach for a couple of weeks, but it's kind of died off lately, but you remember that before he'd asked for a transcript or your ACT score or a 40 time from a camp. So after you do something or after you get something back, you can recall that and say, hey coach, I remember you wanted my transcript. I remember you wanted my ACT score or my 40 time, right? And you can send proof of that updated thing. So whether it's your transcript, you can send them that. If it's your ACT score, you could send them a screenshot of your ACT score. Or if it's your 40 time from a camp, you could send them a picture of your little card that you get with the 40 time at a camp. And the next letter here is E, which stands for entertain. So we can entertain a coach with something outside of football or outside of the X's and O's about what they're doing on a day-to-day basis, right? And this is where you're actually gonna build a trust, is outside of the serious conversations. So you could talk about different shared interests or hobbies, or one of my favorites is, say it's Sunday or Monday night during the football season, right? That's usually coaches' more free days, or Sundays and Mondays. So you could ask, hey coach, who do you got tonight? The Chiefs or the Bills? For example, if it's Sunday night football, you would use those 2 teams that are playing that night. And if a coach has been a little bit dry maybe, or hasn't really been responding, you can ask a question like that that's outside of football. So the next letter is C, which stands for connect. So we can connect ourselves to their program, to a player, or to a coach. This is kind of a little psychological trick of them already thinking about us in their program or in their position. An example of this might be something like, hey coach, I saw your game last week and I love how your linebackers play downhill. Then you would send them your film link and say, here's my film, this is me doing my best, their linebacker name impression. Right, so say they have a pretty good linebacker and he had a pretty good game last Saturday, or say you've been watching his highlights too, and say, hey coach, this is my film, how do you think I compare to your linebacker? Or you're trying to connect you and your film to a player that he already knows, likes, and trusts. Now this next one is a little bit different. Each one of these has a different timing or a different purpose involved, right? Those first 3 were really if you're a little bit farther in the conversation or in the relationship with a coach. This next one, R for recycle, is maybe you already sent an opener and you're not sure on what to say next, or you haven't really got the conversation truly off the ground yet. So here's where we can recycle old openers or other questions to be able to actually get that first response or those first couple of responses. So any of the openers that you've seen us use would be fine to use here. You could say, hey coach, just wondering what's the best way to get evaluated this month. So this November, this April, whatever the month is, wondering what the best way is to get evaluated this month. Similar to the other openers, you could ask if they're looking for your position or grad year, or if they're, trying to figure out who the area coach is who might be able to recruit you. And the recruit framework is just one small piece of what we call the scholarship system, and it's responsible for over $2 million in scholarship money in the last 14 months or so. And if you want to learn more about the entire process and how it works, you can click the video on screen right now. But the next letter is U, and that stands for update. So this is where most players are kind of limited to. Maybe they just send their film once a week or something like that. But this is updating with highlights, stats, awards, accolades, or different achievements that could be individual or your team too. So actually, one of my athletes just last week, he was struggling to kind of get in touch with the coach a little bit, and he stayed consistent with it and sent over his last week highlights and said, "Hey coach, we just clinched our conference championship," which is an awesome team achievement, right? And that was the one for him that kind of sparked the conversation to go forward, because the school he was messaging actually just clinched their conference championship too. It's not always about saying the perfect thing, but more so just having different reasons to reach out and staying consistent with it. Now, the next one, I, stands for inquire. And these are going to be more specific than openers and also move the conversation forward too. And these can be more examples of qualifying questions. So, for example, it could be, "Hey coach, just curious, how many wide receivers are you looking to bring in your next class?" Or, "Hey coach, I'm looking to get out there this summer for a camp. Do you have any visit opportunities around the camp date?" And by asking a question like that, you can kind of see where the coach stands with interest too, because if they're not willing to bring you out for a visit, then they're probably not that serious about you as a recruit. And that's why we urge our guys in the camp process to line up meetings or visits or something other than just the camp. Now, if all else fails here, you can T, which is tailor a super personalized message to a specific coach. Right, so this one takes a little bit more research and is a little bit less scalable, but still is super effective. And most teams post content regularly on their Instagram or on their Twitter, so you can find something from that and send a message about that. Or you can do a little bit of research. Most teams have a quick bio on each coach on their website. You can read through that, see if there's anything that you connect with. Maybe your uncle played football at where that coach played football at, or there's some connection. Look through those bios or look through some of that content being posted on Instagram or Twitter and see if you can come up with something or come up with a follow-up based upon what you see. So one of my athletes, for example, he was talking to a coach for a little bit, but the conversation kind of fell off, and he saw that the coach had retweeted something about their school building this new facility. So he saw that and reached out and said, "Hey coach, I just saw the new facility being built. That looks pretty sweet," right? That gives him a reason to respond and kind of talk about, "Hey, yeah, dude, super excited," because what did we say before? People love to talk about themselves, right? And if a coach can talk about something cool happening on campus or in their program, that's going to be something that he wants to talk about. So as you go throughout the recruiting process, there are so many different variables that determine whether you land an offer or you don't. And the recruit framework here is just one piece of the pie. And that's why the athletes that we work with see a lot of success, because they have the entire system and I'm in the driver's seat there with them, telling them where to go and how to navigate the entire thing. Now, obviously this only works for recruits who already have varsity film and believe in their ability. They've done the camps and the training already, but they don't know how to showcase their talent or their ability, get more eyeballs on them, or actually turn the interest into offer. If that is you though, we'll hold your hand throughout the entire process and work with you one-on-one until you land a scholarship that you're happy with. And because it is a one-on-one program, there naturally is a cap to it, and we want to make sure that each athlete we work with gets the highest level of service possible. So click the link below this video to apply and see if you qualify for it, and we'll see you in the next one.